So this one's another non-fiction one, and it's ever so geeky, and a lot of you, more than half of you, a lot more than half of you would have absolutely no interest in this, but I don't care, because it's my top 5, not yours. So, as you may or may not know, depending on whether you watch my other channel or not, which you should, I am a huge fan of folk music, and I am in a folk group. We sing at a local folk club, and we're hoping to do festivals and stuff next year. And I bought this book to help with our folking, and it tells you the history of folk music, where the songs came from, and like how to work with them. And it tells you about all the famous folk artists and song collectors. And it comes with a CD as well, which is pretty awesome, with some really old school original recordings of songs. Back in the day, I mean like in the 1800s, people used to go around the country collecting folk songs. So they would go to farms and blacksmith shops and butchers and all the really working class people, and write down the songs that they sang as they worked and to keep themselves entertained. And yeah, and so this is a collection of some of those songs, and they're on the CD in their, I think in their original, some of them definitely in their original recorded state. And yeah, it just tells you about all different versions, how to find songs, what to do with them when you found them, how to like make the music your own, and how to reinterpret them for yourself, and stuff like that. I really enjoy it. It's a very helpful book. So if you are into folk music and you plan on maybe starting a folk group, then buy the folk handbook, because it's really good. It's got essays in it about the history and the meaning of folk songs. It's got guidance in it from legendary folk musicians. It's got a full list of folk music on the internet, and yeah, it's really interesting and helpful, and I love it. And my final book is another one which I think I did finish this, but it's a long time, so I can't really remember. I'm only choosing these because I remember that they had a profound effect on me at the time, and they're books that I often think about rereading because they were so good and they had such a profound effect on me, and I want to have that effect again. So this is by Ian Banks, and it's called Walking on Glass. Ian Banks wrote other things as well. I thought he was going to do something famous, but I get him mixed up with the guy who wrote Enduring Love, whose name I've forgotten, which is ridiculous because I really like that book as well. But anyway, Ian Banks. So this is like several intertwining stories, and the people in the stories don't know each other, but their stories intertwine. So there's a guy who's in love with a woman that he doesn't understand. There is a guy who's paranoid because something is out to get him. There is a man in a big ramshackle castle who is forced to play really impossible games, and he has to answer a really difficult riddle and pass all these games in order to escape his castle. And I think they don't even actually live in the same time or the same world, but somehow they collide. And I really need to read this again so I could actually tell you what it's about. I really like the way, okay, so there's these 3 people, and each chapter is about each person in turn. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And first guy who it follows, whose name is Graham Park, it names all of his chapters after the road that he's on at the time of the chapter. The second guy, who is called Stephen Grout, names all of his chapters after people that he meets in each chapter. And the other guy, who is called Quiz, all of his chapters are named after the game he is playing at the time, which I find really interesting. And it's very good. It's got, I like the way it almost mixes genres, because it's got the very modern, urban stuff of Graham Park and Stephen Grout. They live in a much more modern, normal sort of world, and then it mixes it in with a very surreal, fantastical world of Quiz in this big castle playing games that don't actually exist. And it's just really interesting. And Ian Banks is a really good author, and he also does sci-fi books under Ian M. Banks. Does his little sci-fi spacey stuff, which I don't read because I'm not really into sci-fi. But I'm sure they're really good. So yes, those are my 5 favourite books. Not necessarily favourite books, books that have had the biggest impact on me, which I think is more important than it being like your favourite. I'm reading Dracula at the moment, which is really good. It takes me so long though, because I'll really get into a book and find it really difficult to put it down, and then I have to put it down because I've got to do something, and then I just forget to pick it up again. And also I'm really bad at finishing a book before I start another one, so currently I'm reading that history one, the social history one, Dracula, Band of Brothers, Atonement, one called The Black Unicorn, The Women in White, The Women in Black. So yeah, 7 books on the go. Doesn't work for me. I will learn one day to read a book, put it down, open the next one, read it to the end, and yeah. So I did books first because I thought it would be the most difficult one for me, so I'll get it out of the way, because it's inevitable that we're going to talk about books because they're good and fun. I hope you liked it and that you maybe discover a new favourite book of yours, and if anyone other than Kat is watching this, let me know what your favourite books are. I suppose Kat, you can as well if you want. Not bothered. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go. It's really, really hot in this room and I'm gonna sweat. So, okay, bye.